Hooker, you pissed off another vampire and then you took a goddamn nap.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
I can't really. I guess that's what we'll do. Oh, maybe I should get some dice.
That normally helps in this game.
Sorry, I was busy Instagramming. Although actually I didn't use Instagram. Never mind.
My favorite, like the lady I buy my gemstone dice from, put up some like raised obsidian vampire like D10s with
nice.
like an ankh for the 10, and I'm like, I might treat myself.
Yeah.
You're like, cool. I have a powerful need.
Yeah. Well, it's like I have a dice vault that I'm not using. I could like, this is my vampire one. It's perfect.
There you go.
Well, not to give a promo where I shouldn't give a promo, but Dungeon Box is like those like loot boxes that come out, but they have one for RPGs called Dungeon Box. And I saw a promo. They have, if you sign up for the month of November, you get a free gelatinous cube looking box that's like semi-clear, but it looks like it's got like pieces of weapon and and whatnot in it. So I went ahead and did that. I was like, if nothing else, I've got a dice jail that works for me.
Awesome.
It's the ultimate dice jail.
Yep, and a gelatinous cube.
Yeah.
Cute.
Okay, so we are back and we are live, and it's the first game of the month. So do we have any birthdays this month? I mean, we only got 2 months left in the year.
Isn't it? It's Rachel's birthday, isn't it? Soon? November?
That was in September.
Oh.
Well, so many of you had to be October babies. There's probably none left.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okie doke. So then who wants to roll for monthly XP?
I don't have a D4 out, so not it.
I have one, unless somebody else wants to roll it. I feel like I roll it more often than not, but
you just like to make use of your dice.
So you go for it.
Okay. That's a 3. So +1.
3. Yep. So that'd be 4.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
You're up to a whopping 10.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you say 10?
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's a high roller over there.
I am.
Somebody's got to be. Sure not me.
So I will let most of this go in character because that's kind of the intention for the night. Everybody has received a notification. Where do we want to hold this at, Sophie?
Let's do it at my place because I know my place is secure.
So you're going to have it at the house?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of you have been cordially invited to the Casa de Lower, which some of you have already been. There is an address that's been attached if you need to know where to go to said location. It is on the western side of Ashland, up in the hills. It actually overlooks a part of Ashland proper. It's in the side roads that go up there where you've got like some of the nicer homes. So that is where everybody has been advised to show up. It's probably some sort of scented envelope with fancy calligraphy, pen writing, on the inside to make it look like super top notch 90s high school, come to my party sort of look.
90s high school. Wouldn't that be like folded up and tucked inside itself?
No, that's 80s, dear.
Oh, sorry.
Would it be like in those magic fortune teller, like origami things?
Yep. You're like,
what's your favorite color?
Yeah, open the tab, open the tab.
Go to Sophie's. Oh.
It says blue. Okay. BLUE. Okay, open it up.
Right. How long has it then been in game since the last game?
2 nights.
Okay.
So not very long. Shelly, at this point, your ghouls have managed to get most of your haven kind of up and running. You still obviously got bigger parts that need to be situated, but it's safe, and they have a replacement vehicle. So don't everybody jump at once.
Let's see. Here, I'll jump.
Yeah.
Have I been able to, within the past 2 nights, get a replacement car?
Oh yes.
That poor man.
Ye old free candy van.
Like, would Pantheon Investigations have a company car, or am I going to have to just kind of wait
No,
until I get
you know what?
someone to get one?
They would have given you a rental with the emphasis on avoid masquerade breaches and, like damage, because this is something that, is on the record for being paid for. So,
Okay.
please be careful with it, sort of thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
you absolutely could have gotten a rental through them.
Okay. Cool. Then, before leaving the communal haven, is there still any blood on tap in the fridge?
You know what? Given the fact that the said communal haven is also like the residence of Remus, yes, it is.
Cool. I'll get a couple of points worth from that. And
You have enough for 2.
sweet. All right.
Okay,
Eh.
so I'm going to feed off my ghouls and have my
Oh.
male ghoul drive me to where we need to go.
You're gonna feed off the ghouls.
Yep.
So basically, you're a guy asking for your rib back. Okay, that's not going to be a big deal. Remus, are you doing anything in particular?
I guess if I'm not aware of all of the trouble, then I'm probably just going to. Was it actually a letter, or was it a text?
No, it was an actual letter.
Okay.
You're gonna make this more difficult when the actual party comes around, because this is definitely more of a text kind of thing.
Because I think I just think that Remus would probably wonder why is Sophie sending us letters? That seems like something that Henri would do.
Mostly because we don't want to wait for the post office to deliver this.
No, I just wonder why not just text it? But if Remus doesn't know about the trouble that everyone's been having, then I think he would probably.
He definitely would have overheard something. I don't know if since you weren't around, you didn't get the full scoop, but something is up.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to bring Liam and Eleanor with me,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give Jeeves the night off.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, because Remus is also kind of worried that we're not especially stealthy in and out of this house. I don't want him to be the only one here when somebody firebombs the place. So,
All right.
Yeah. So when he's not when nobody else is there, I don't want him to be holding down the fort. I'd rather them just destroy the place and not rip him in half. But we'll get into my car and head to Sophie's place.
Okay. So since you decided that this was going to be the place of the meeting, Doug is off doing Doug things right now.
LARPing.
And Colin is in the process of cleaning up around the house because he wasn't aware that you were going to do that. So he's making a mad dash and finger gunning things to get stuff to go away by itself.
Really efficient.
Is it like Fantasia when he cleans? Like
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Everything's dancing in sync.
Basically, he every so often what he does to and it's almost completely pointless use of his magic, but it's more along the lines of he's just trying to find some way to get inspired, so he'll want to do other things or figure. You know how sometimes you just you have something you want to work on, but you just hit a roadblock. So you're just like, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to screw around and maybe inspiration will hit me. So one night what he decided to do is, after watching Sword in the Stone, he came up with a spell that will in essence make mundane things put themselves away or wash themselves.
Has he ever turned anybody into a squirrel?
Not as of yet, no.
Okay, there's still time.
Yes. Don't be a mediocrity. Mediocrity? Don't just wait and trust to fate.
I haven't seen that movie in decades.
I just watched that movie like last week. I love that movie. Okay, so all of you pull up to this house. The house looks like it was probably made in the 80s, so it's not like super old. Well kept. On the outside, it has a garage that doesn't look like any cars are ever put in there. It's probably storage or something. A rather large pile of wood sits off to the side. Driveway is gravel. There's already 2 vehicles here, pickup truck and a Tesla. The pickup truck is your typical beat up. I ram into something, I don't really care. Work truck sort of look, and the Tesla is a Tesla. So they look odd sitting next to one another. There are a couple trees that hang over the property, all pine trees, so it has kind of a little bit of a shade around it. The grounds, and there aren't really any neighbor. The grounds are kept. There aren't really any neighbors. Neighbors in this area are usually, half-mile away, sort of thing. So property is stretched out a bit up around this area. When you pull in, of course, you can see, down into the belly of the city from where you're at, and the lights and whatnot. You can tell that there's traffic backed up on the highway, but that's not uncommon.
As before I walk in, like, because their house, there's like a lot of like open space. Like, there's no like other buildings around, like
No.
And
We got
it's
trees, right?
What's that?
There's a lot of trees around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I activate Eyes of the Beast really quick? Just I want to like peer into the darkness and make sure I don't see like people like hiding behind trees, like staring at us or anything. Like,
Absolutely.
okay,
Go ahead and so you don't have to roll to activate Eyes of the Beast. It's just something you do. So go ahead and roll Perception Alertness.
okay, which I just bought new dots in.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
6.
6. Okay, even with those extra dice, that's only 1 success.
Oh. Okay, so you're looking around, just taking a quick scan, and on the wood pile, from the wood pile, you see 2 eyes peering back at you.
Do I also see an iPhone light up?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna approach. I'm pretty sure it's their cat, but like I want to just double check.
Okay, so you approach. The eyes get a little bit more narrow.
Because my eyes like glow red too, like during this
Mhm.
whole thing.
Mhm.
So it's especially creepy. So is it Sophie, what's your cat's name? Cuddles? Is it Cuddles?
Well, whatever it is, the pair of eyes are coming from the woodpile, so you can't quite tell.
All right, I'm gonna.
The big question is, did you eventually buy Feral Whispers, which is level 1 of Protean?
Oh, is
or
it?
Animalism? Sorry.
Animalism.
Yeah. It's because if it was Protean, I'd have it. Animalism, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it Cuddles?
Do you go so you just walk right up to the woodpile? Okay, so as you walk right up, a feline form darts out from underneath the wood and uses you as a springboard and just bounces like right off your shoulder and angles for the inside.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I had to make sure. Did he leave his little laptop playing Netflix on?
No, you didn't see anything like that. I mean, he does have his harness on, but there's like no phone or anything attached to it.
He probably set it to charge inside. Okay, yeah, I'll turn off Eyes of the Beast and I'll head inside.
Okay. So you walk inside. Presumably, everybody else is starting to walk inside as well. Once everybody gets there. Sophie, so Cuddles comes, walking through. It's his house too. Comes walking through the hallway, and he's just like, "Mommy, Remedict is here."
Invited him.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I invited him.
Oh no, I overheard the conversation. He approached me as if he could speak to me.
Well, maybe someday.
Mommy, he's a gangrel. He's supposed to already speak to me. He's broken.
He's new. He's new. He's still learning.
He doesn't smell new.
That's probably Benedict.
Oh, well, very well.
And is the fancy cologne, right?
No, I meant as a. Never mind, it's not a big deal. I'm going to show him my butt and walk away.
All right.
And so he just, walks off down the hallway to go to do something that, cats do.
So I'll make sure that everything's in order and then start answering the door.
Okay. So, I mean, everybody at this point is, come in. We don't have to do intro sequences for everybody. But so far, Lily, Benjamin, and Remus are here.
I'll have them have a seat in the living room, and I'll get some paper and maybe some kind of a city map.
Okay.
Pretend we have a city map.
There is also, for those of you who don't know, Colin is also there. Colin has kind of a short haircut. Looks almost like the polar opposite of the well-kept Sophie, manicured and dressed and whatnot. He looks like a jeans t-shirt, leather jacket kind of guy, with like a type of necklace on, as well as some wristband, like leather bands that are around his wrists, and he's got a tattoo that starts from like this side of his neck and goes all the way down his arm, looking kind of skeletal.
Didn't realize Colin was so radical.
Yep.
And he has a trapper keeper. That radical.
Is it a Lisa Frank trapper keeper?
It's a Lisa Frank. Yes.
Ooh.
Yep.
With yikes pencils and pogs and everything.
Pogs were 90s.
Is that too young for him?
No. But nevertheless,
Thanks for coming, everyone. I thought it would be best to have this meeting here because I know that this is a secure venue and we can speak freely. Which we'll have to work on some of the other locations, but for the time being, here we are. So, does everyone know each other? And I look around and make some introductions. Lily, this is my husband Colin, and Remus. Remus, Lily.
Hello.
hello.
So, I'll get right to the point. We need to take care of this hate problem, and we need to do it fast because our southern werewolf neighbors are getting impatient, and I'd rather not take them all on. So here's what we're thinking. We need to pull off some kind of trap and get him to walk into it and then incapacitate him and then invite the wolves or turn him over to the wolves. And in essence, the objective here is to put him on ice so that they can deal with him because he's sort of a mortal enemy of theirs. And once they see that that we have this common enemy, hopefully they will take it as a gesture of good faith and get off our backs, and Ashland will be safe, or the Ashland vampires will be safe. So, as you recall from our last fight, he is not an easy opponent, and we kind of have no idea where he is right now, but I spoke with Painwise, who is a werewolf friend of mine, and he suggested that a strategy that he would use if he was hunting us was basically to pick us off one by one, starting with the biggest threat. Whoever that would be. I'm not sure how we would want to deal with that, but if we can somehow use some of us or one of us as some kind of a lure to have him walk into this trap, maybe that's a route that we want to take. We've also had suggested possibly tranquilizing him. He is technically human, even though this is sort of a magical transformation that he does. It's not quite the same as the werewolves, but if we can keep him from transforming, maybe with a spiked collar or some kind of shackles, etc. So these are this is the intel that I have, and now we need some suggestions on how to pull this off.
First off, I'm not sure he'd attack us one at a time. That isn't his MO. He hasn't done that yet. He attacks us pretty much all at once, where he uses bait.
And he's
Right.
failed twice. So, I mean, he could he could try it again. Maybe if that's his idea or his policy, then perhaps some kind of a gathering where he knows that we'll be all together. That's also an option.
I don't know how. I don't imagine. I guess I'm having difficulties even imagining that he would fall for something like this. Like up to this point, we've had difficulty even like figuring out what his where what his allegiances are, where his base of operations. Like every avenue we've checked has gone cold. How do we even know that he's even still in the area?
That is a good point. That's a valid point. I think he may not be in the immediate area, but since he's attacked us twice, we know that he has a vested interest in Ashland, and because he also is associated with that pharmaceutical company downtown, maybe that's an investment that he's made to prove that this is a longer game for him. I don't know, and maybe that's an avenue that we can take as well. Somehow reaching out through the company, maybe. I don't remember how far we've gone down that rabbit hole.
I think what we had discovered was that he was not super like the guy that we had kidnapped from his house and turned into a zombie essentially. Um, didn't he say that like he would just get bodies for, or he kidnapped people for hate, but they were not. At least from what I remember, let me look through and I'll pull out my notebook. Just
Ezra worked for Autumn Health, and he had some sort of relationship where he was doing that stuff for Max. I'm not sure we ever got if Max is on contract with Autumn or if Ezra was just doing that for extra cash on the side. As far as dealing with Max, Baron, you have any more of those pills, the Normalite things?
I turned them over to Noah, actually. Yeah, maybe we ought to call him over and discuss this with him. What do you think?
I mean, if it works on vampires, does it work on them too? If it does, he's screwed the moment he takes one.
I'm going to text Noah.
Okay.
And I'll just say we're having a meeting to discuss that mutual interest if you'd like to join us.
Okay. Colin's kind of like looking over and he's like, babe, how many more people are we going to invite to our house?
It's secure. I know it's covered.
Okay. Alrighty.
I mean, it's not like I'm inviting strangers.
I'm only going to tell like maybe 10 people about this place, tops.
Most of you have been here before anyway.
That's not the point I'm getting at, but okay. So he sends a text back. Potluck?
I'll just text back BYOB.
You get a text back. It says, "Oh goody," and with the text it says "Addy."
And I'll send that to him.
Okay.
Here's an idea. I have an ability to call somebody to me from any distance, and depending on how how far away they are and how well I'm able to pull it off. It's an extremely strong compulsion, but I have to have met them first. And I think, technically speaking, I have not actually met him, because that last time that we fought, I was kind of KIA before he showed himself. However, I would guess that Remus might be able to do this.
To do what?
Do you have presence level 4?
Yeah.
That might be an option.
That's handy.
But
I don't
again,
know.
it depends on how far away he is, how long it would take him to reach us.
Yeah. I'm also just he's this dude's an ambush predator. I don't. I'm kind of wondering how lucky we'll get, like luring him into anything.
Well, how does this like power, like it just brings them directly to you then?
They know what they're doing, but they just have this compulsion to come to you.
Ah, so they don't know it's you calling.
No, but he could bring backup with him.
He
You know,
could.
somebody is calling him.
And I would guess that he'd probably suspect it to be an ambush. So the element of surprise would be lost, but we would get him.
We'd need to be armed to the teeth.
I'd hope we do that anyway.
He had all those weird creatures with them. Do we like? How did he even get those things with him? We never even talked about that really.
That might be a Noah question.
I mean, is he going to be able to tell us anything other than it smells of taint? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think at the very least he knows more about it than we do. He might be able to weigh in on how viable this plan is. Maybe more about the nature of hate and any weaknesses that he might have. For example, I don't know if silver works the same way on him as, you know, it's supposed to do on other werewolves. Which, that's another thing that we might want to arm ourselves with.
The game, the role-playing game. Do they have werewolf version?
I think so.
How accurate is the one for us? Does it talk about what stakes do and all that shit? Because if it does, we've got free info for the werewolves and their strengths and vulnerabilities, maybe?
From what I've heard, it's pretty accurate. I haven't really put a lot of attention into that. That's a good question, though. I'm gonna text Doug.
Okay.
And ask him if he has the book for the werewolf game.
Okay. So your phone starts ringing.
I'll answer it.
Okay. It's Doug.
Oh, Okay.
You can hear there's like a lot of people, around him, sort of thing. Oh, hi, Sophie. Why did you want to know about the werewolf game?
I'm just wondering, like, how accurate it would be to, real werewolves.
I don't exactly know. I don't have werewolves to test it off of.
Right. But do you?
And it's called
Do you own-
lycanthropy.
Oh, my mistake.
I know, big difference.
Do you have the book?
Yeah, I got it secondhand. It's in my room if you want to go in.
Do you mind?
It's clean if that's what you're asking.
Okay, where can I find it? I'll go like bring the phone and go walk
So
over
he's
to
like,
his room.
yeah, it's right next to my computer. There's a stack of them. You can't miss it.
Okay, I'll go in his room and look for the book.
Yeah, there's like it's not even really organized. It's like just gotta, went shopping, set it down on a desk and just left it, sort of thing. So there's like, several used books. But yeah, there's a book there for lycanthropy.
Okay. Thanks, Doug.
Or lycanthrope, I think is what it's called. Oh yeah, no problem. Have fun.
Have fun. All right, so I'll bring this back out, but also kind of be aware that once Noah gets here, he's probably not going to want to see it. So, or know that I'm sure he'll probably know that it's here. This place probably has worm taint all over it. But
couldn't we have met Noah at his nightclub? Wouldn't that have been better than giving up the location of your love nest?
Colin just points at Remus and is just like,
I suppose he probably keeps his place. Isn't he sort of techno savvy? He probably keeps it pretty secure as well.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we met at the nightclub, we've been there before. It's
so. My concern was Painwise reminded me that this fellow has abilities.
1 sec, be right back. Go ahead.
He's able to cloak himself, and so really when we're talking about this, we need to make sure that we're in a place that's defensible and secure. And I knew that my place is magically defensible or defended, and so I figured he would definitely not be able to overhear us in here. That was my thought.
What would happen if Hate actually came here? Is he going to burst into flames, or?
Yeah, I would guess he would probably first of all have a hard time finding it. I'm pretty sure it's got some kind of a counter magic on it that prevents people from finding it if they don't know where it is, kind of a thing. And it's very difficult to work spells that penetrate that counter magic from the outside. So from the inside too.
Not bad.
Can you do that around our haven? Because I've also been thinking that it's not exactly the most we're treating it like the Hall of Justice in the old Justice Friends cartoon. Everybody, I don't know. I imagine anybody who wants to find us knows where we are.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can work that out with Colin.
Can I ask what kind of game that you guys are talking about?
Oh, it is the
Now that you have the book
Black
in your
Dog.
hands, the actual name of the game is Lycanthrope: The Rapture.
It's basically the White Wolf LARP that's inside the White Wolf game. and it's a
Oh
pentext.
no, I was asking in character.
Oh, okay. Yes. Do you know what live action role playing is?
No.
It's a sort of play acting where you take on a part and then act like those characters, and
So, like a play?
more like improv. But anyway, there's one that's based on vampires where you play as a vampire, and then a related game which is this, and I hold up the book, where you play as a werewolf, but they are uncannily close to actual details of the way that we work, of our societies and our character. And so it's definitely a
It's pretty much based off a true story, but humans have no idea that it's real. Just all the names of clans and shit are different.
right,
Is
but
it
not that different.
authored? Is it created by another kindred?
I would guess that probably there have been some involved. When we looked into it earlier, a few weeks ago, when we found out about this phenomenon, we were informed that it's worm tainted, which is in essence stuff the werewolves don't like because it like goes against nature or something, some element of corruption. I don't know. But and that's why they don't like us either. But in any case, I thought it might be helpful to fill in some gaps, maybe with possible knowledge,
Interesting.
things that we can't really ask.
Crack it open, see what it says.
Okay.
I'm going to hand it over to Ben.
All right. I go to like, table of contents. It's just anything that looks like powers of werewolves or strengths and weaknesses or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of goes over some base information. It talks about how wolfsbane is bunk. Doesn't really work. Silver is supposed to be effective. Lycanthropes are also affected by the sign of the cross because they are cursed of the devil. Sort of thing. It's got some comments that they possess gifts from pagan spirits, many of which have been passed down through the ages and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
it's sufficiently weird.
Yeah. So they're powered. Well, this says it powered by pagan spirits. Silver, I guess, would hurt him. Wolfsbane and shit, all that's, I guess, a no. We were wondering if silver would hurt. Book says it does.
Yes, I've
Okay.
heard silver, that they have an allergy to silver.
The trick is, as I understand it, Max Hate's father was not born a werewolf. He sort of stole his, or like, he's some kind of a magical corruption of werewolfness, and I don't know what that means for Max.
Not to interrupt, but we're currently being raided by Vancouver by Night. It said we had like 21 people in the party. So thank you very much.
Yay!
Much appreciated. We are currently exploring the meta of meta as Sophie is attempting to explain Lycanthropy: The Rapture, a Black Dog game found within White Wolf Games.
Then with you talking about the magic stuff, I'm like, let me see if something like that's in here. And I look at the book to see if there's any like talk about magical spells or rituals that turn people into werewolves.
So you're looking at magical actually there is a spell that's in there. They reference a character by the name of Robert Rogers, who apparently deviated from the lycanthropes. He was it was angling to be super cursed, I guess, in a way. He lived a life as a children's icon on a children's show for a while, and it wasn't enough. He desired more out of his life. The lycanthropes denied this of him. He was only, a middling relation, so he found some sort of cursed spell that allowed him to replicate this process by the taking of 6 lycanthrope pelts.
All right. Well, there's this Robert Rogers guy, and he was ousted, but then used other lycanthropes to make himself change. Maybe that's real? Like he had to sacrifice other werewolves to do it? Do we know if he's ever done that?
That sounds kind of familiar. That's pretty twisted.
Considering how many of us did we throw at him, and once he was transformed, it really couldn't do anything. Like, do we really think that he could take out 6 lycanthropes on his own?
And they have a picture in there of what Robert Rogers looks like, and this guy is almost a Dead Ringer knockoff of Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the TV guy?
Like the TV guy, yes.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yep.
A wonderful day in the neighborhood.
Yep.
That's even more twisted.
Is there anything in the book that tells you how to stop somebody who is a werewolf from turning into one? Like, because I think as long as we can keep him from transforming, I think I could probably take him.
I looked that up.
Okay, well, the book does mention that if you manage to kill that lycanthrope's creator, then it will free them of the curse.
What does that even mean?
Well, it says if you kill the maker of the werewolf or lycanthrope, they go away.
They have makers? Like we do?
That's what the book says. We're basing it off the book. I don't know how much of this is right. I haven't actually looked through the vampire book either. Have we actually checked to see how much of that is right?
Well, a lot as far as I've heard, but I haven't, spent time studying it. Just Doug's been pretty into it, so he's been telling me about his games. Hey, flip to the index and see if there's more on that Rogers guy.
Oh no, it was. You flip through it, and the version of the book that you have is Lycanthrope: The Rapture 20th Anniversary Edition. So the comment's actually referencing their supplement.
Oh, what's the supplement called?
The supplement is like Lycanthrope: The Rapture, Cursed Spirits or something along those lines.
I'll go see if Doug has that one.
Okay. Yep. So you find one that's like especially dog-eared, like it's probably, seen quite a bit of use. But yeah, he's got that one in his stack too.
I'll pull that one out and bring
Okay.
it up.
So this one talks about, from what you can tell, talks about all the pagan spirits, from the North Americas as well as Europe and whatnot. All of them are like corruptible. Like, I mean, the way that the inside of the book reads,
like this one.
not quite. More like Book of the Worm.
Oh. I've got that one.
Yes, I know you do. But it reads very much like almost like Stephen King decided to make a role playing supplement, and so it's like it's got all these real most of it's like real creepy. None of the spirits sound like anything that would be remotely helpful. Like if you were a player, this all sounds bad. But I guess maybe that's the whole point of Lycanthrope the Rapture. No, you're not sure, but you do end up seeing the full write up of Robert Rogers towards the back of that particular book, and it's got a picture of him looking kind of like what Mr. Rogers would normally look like, with nice turtleneck sweater and very wholesome look. And he happens to have like a 357 Magnum in one hand, dangling off to to one side sort of thing. And there's a children's choo-choo train at his feet that's a little bloody. Looking very, very demented. But the picture and everything, he looks very wholesome. As the story goes, because it kind of gives a brief background write-up, and it references other books that it came from, but this is like, you don't have to go and get those. These were other adventures that you needed to pick up if you wanted to play out his story. But the character, in essence, started off as a familial relation to to lycanthropes, because apparently this is something that can be passed around through family as well. The curse, which, as you've noted, according to the game, can make it particularly hard, because you may pop up as being cursed, but you have no idea who it was that originally cursed the family.
Oh, it might have been a long time ago, huh?
Right. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like, so one of the artificial storylines that it's in it is, trying to find the person who actually cursed your family X amount of time ago, and so on and so forth. But that's one of the underlying stories that they've got in it. And then as the story goes, he couldn't figure out who had actually had cursed the family, but he was not certain as to why it skipped him. Other members of his family had become lycanthropes, but it had skipped him, and he was super jealous. It says that through his children's the TV and children's television connections, he ended up branching off and meeting other influencers of the time. This was 70s, or I should say late 60s, 70s, going into the early 80s. And he found people. He ended up finding people who were good in the medical field and in the burdening genetics field, and discovered that the curse somehow affects on a genetic level. They gloss over it. You get the idea from reading this that they're good about developing story, but not good about developing the rule.
Does anything in that book says anything about how to kill them?
No, this is just the backstory on this particular guy. And so what he ended up doing is, when he had enough information on a medically, this actually led him to a former geneticist from the Thule Society with straight up Nazi connections. And in doing so, he found some sort of bizarre ritual that would force the transformation. The key thing is your family would have had to have been cursed at some point in time for this to be passed down. So it's a crapshoot. You don't without having the right information beholden to you. And so what he ended up doing is he started picking off members of his own family one at a time, but when they weren't ready for it or whatnot, and skinning them. And once he had 6 skins of his family, he was able to use this Thulian spell, of Nazi chthonic horror levels, and as the story goes, he turned himself into a lycanthrope. And then there's other stories of him running into butting heads several times with revenants and stealing some of their magics as he was attempting to maybe take over the world or something. They don't really delve too much into it, but there's a couple other side stories where he's further trying to hunt down additional magics to bolster his own. And there's another issue that it doesn't delve into it too much, but he gets lost in the Amazon somewhere and ends up stealing the eye of a conquistador or something bizarre like that, and it turns out to be some authentic magic item, but it sends him to a far off parallel mystical world, and then he's not seen from again for some time. And really creepy Twilight Zone type of stories.
Charming.
So was Mr. Rogers a werewolf? I'm very lost. I'm guessing from silence he must have been. Okay. I write that in my note.
Colin shrugs. He's like, yeah, news to me, man. Sorry.
I mean, not the actual Mr. Rogers. I would hope.
I mean, how
That
do
we
we
know
know
of.
though? Yeah, because if these books are filled with barely obfuscated truths, then are we is Max Haight the son of Mr. Rogers or some other sort of TV children's personality thing? Can I Google? Can I look up on my phone if there's been a family that was in TV where a bunch of members of the family were skinned horribly? I think that would be pretty easy to search for on my phone.
Sure.
What did he look like?
What did who look like?
Max.
Oh,
to those who saw him.
Yeah, to those who saw him. You guys didn't see him in his human form.
Oh no!
He looked like a werewolf.
Yeah,
oh, wait.
he looked like a werewolf. When he was a human, he was shooting at you guys from range.
Yeah.
With sniper runs. So yeah, you guys never actually saw him. You know what he looks like as a werewolf.
Okay.
So big Herkin rage machine.
Does the book say anything about how to kill them?
To kill werewolf or to kill Robert Rogers?
Well, it would be the same thing, wouldn't it not?
The story leaves it up to the story leaves it up to the storyteller for that one. But they claim that obviously pinning them down with the sign of the cross and using silver is the only way to really truly cure a lycanthrope of their lycanthropy.
How?
There is another thing. I mean, we could just literally ask Painwise what hurts his kind. We think he'd be willing to say? I mean, he's been chilling with Isadora for, decades now?
I mean, we could ask. I don't know that he would tell us.
And then on the door you hear dut 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 dut.
I'll be right back. I'll go
Sorry.
answer the door.
I'm gonna like hide the werewolf books because if this is Noah, we don't want him to think that. Oh, hey, what's up?
Pretty sure he'll be able to tell.
We're trying
Oh,
to
yeah, but I
role
mean,
play
like-
as you.
Yeah, would you be willing to run a game for us? No, I want to like gotta get them out of view so that way he's not like weirded out by us having like werewolf manuals.
He like throws it in the hallway
No, I would like
under a seat cushion.
I'll just put it underneath my seat or
There you go.
throw it in
So
Cuddles'
you
litter
you
box.
open the door, and Noah is standing there. He's got Olchek behind him, who's in kind of a long sweater, well, not sweater, but long shirt with sleeves, and a vest, denim jeans. Noah looking dapper as always, nice suit and tie, slicked back hair.
Please come in.
And so he's like looking around and he says, I never would have imagined that you lived in such a place.
What do you mean?
You seem classier. This is, pardon the expression, more mundane.
Well, perhaps in time.
So he's like looking around. They're both like looking around and giving that look of like something's wrong, but they're being polite and they're not putting it on their face directly.
Did we end up doing that photo shoot and getting those wedding pictures taken?
Yeah.
So then there would be like pictures on the walls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, I'll lead them back to the rest of the group.
Presumably this is all happening in the living room.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So it'd be right there. So I'll have them take a seat, ask them if they need any drinks.
They're like, no, we're quite all right.
And I'll introduce them to Colin.
They know Colin.
Oh, have they met him before?
At the wedding.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Right. Okay.
They gave you the gift.
That's right.
Jenkins.
Which reminds me.
Oh, nice.
That's funny.
Is that what they gave you for your wedding?
Well, they gave us a, so I guess it's like a bed and breakfast. They gave us a
They have that too.
weekend.
It's both apparently.
Yeah.
You can still rent stuff there too.
Their Twitter is really amusing. Apparently it's in Bend, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, so I'll just have them take a seat and explain that we have been brainstorming the hate situation and how to create a trap, how to get him to walk into it, and then how to incapacitate him once he's there. And there was a question about those the pills that we turned over to them. Like what happened to them, what effect they had, whether he would have more, what that might do if he does, if he brings more of those monster creatures, and how we fight them, etc.
Well, so for visuals, Noah looks like Lucifer from the TV show, and Olchek looks like Scott Eastwood, the son of Clint Eastwood.
Okay. Okay.
So if you want visuals of what they look like. If you want to add that to your notes, George,
Nice.
next to the smoking hot
Very nice.
commentaries.
I'm pretty sure I already put down Total Hottie next
Yep.
to both of them.
He is very cute.
So then to reiterate, you're asking about the medication that you handed them?
Yes, to start with.
Okay. And he says, we destroyed that promptly after getting it, but what were you expecting to get out of it?
I'll look to Ben.
Well,
Boom,
here's
boom,
the thing.
boom.
If we want to knock this werewolf guy out, the thought was if those Normalite pills or whatever mess with vampires and turn off our powers, does it work on anything that's, you know, supernatural or whatever? Like if a werewolf ate one, it turned into a human for a bit.
Oh, no. The pills in question that you were looking at or you're referring to, you may have seen things crawling on all fours. If I'm not mistaken, they were faceless and just had sort of an orifice that used to be their mouth.
Those things that we fought.
Right.
Right. If an individual takes enough of those type of pills, a person, that's what they become.
Ooh.
Okay.
So what is this company even doing making these things? Like, what are they gearing up for? Is this like a bioweapons thing? Are they Umbrella? I know what that is now.
So he just takes a moment to pat you on the back and he's like, good of you to join us then. He says,
It's my second day.
no, we don't know what exactly their full agenda is here outside of the usual byline that you would hear from our kind if you actually heard the commentary of corruption. They have their own agendas that we aren't privy to. But that medication is so that they can create more of those types of creatures.
I would guess it's probably safe to assume that if we can get him to come to us, he'll probably come with more of those creatures.
Well, it is interesting that you chose now to speak to us. We have learned that there may have been a bit of division within the ranks since we last spoke.
Whose ranks?
Umbrella.
Tricell.
What happened with him?
We don't know specifically. We do know, however, he does not seem to be running in the same circles as the... hold on a second, let me get the name of the company again. Here we go. Autumn Health Management Systems. There seems to be a bit of a disconnect between their... between the local company's leader, the president of the company, Riskel Shade, and Maxwell Haight. Or Maximilian.
How do you know this? How do you know this if like you're not really privy to the company's like agenda stuff?
We have our ways.
So you've been doing your own research.
Of course. As much as possible.
Considering that we're now being charged with capturing a murdering sociopath with a high-powered rifle that turns into the scariest thing I've ever seen. You know, any help would be appreciated.
Well, I imagine that's why you called me here.
You wouldn't just happen to know where Max is or where he hangs out, would you?
No, unfortunately we don't. He's been especially elusive. One of the reasons why we came here. However, I can say he does seem to have a particular hard-on for your particular group.
Yeah, no shit.
What did you all do to him? I mean, my first meeting of him was on the mountain. Like, I don't know why he hates you guys so much.
I think it's because we got away.
Have you forgive me, you don't seem the type that reads much, but have you read the book The Most Dangerous Game?
Me? Yeah. Read it in school.
Good. Now, imagine somebody with that mindset, only you got away.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like to me. It seems like if you really wanted to hunt the most dangerous game, wouldn't you be going after like you guys? Like you guys seem much more terrifying than us at this point.
He's already gone after our kind. That
So
is
he's
how
just an obsessed hunter.
Yes, that is how he became what he is.
All right, I'm gonna ask. How do we effectively kill one of your kind? If we have to
Well,
kill this bastard.
well, aren't we supposed to just capture him?
Yeah,
Is there
we-
any way?
Not kill him.
Yeah, but what if we can't do that? I mean, we've seen what this guy does. He nearly just annihilated me in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And if we do capture him and turn him over to the other werewolves, are we sure that they'll be able to handle him? We don't want him getting away again.
Oh, if you're successful in turning him over to the others, I imagine he will not be for this mortal coil much longer.
So is there really? Well, all right. So is there any way to keep him from hulking out, so to speak? Like, he's hard enough to get close enough to with the high powered rifle, but you know he's not exactly easy to look at up close.
Of course, but you must understand that I can't exactly divulge that type of information because then it could be used against me. And our particular group is already in enough hot water with the other cousins of country persuasion down south.
So how do you suggest that we do it?
Well, you don't kill him, but you give him something he wants.
Which is?
One of you.
Sacrifice one of us?
Or at least act as bait.
How would we communicate that opportunity to him? How do we even know that he's in the area?
Oh, he's still in the area. He's been in the area for 2 years, roughly. Normally, he's a patient hunter, which makes him especially deadly.
So how do you lure out something that is patient, especially when we're the ones who were on a timeline?
Right, if we set
that
the
I
trap,
can't answer.
if we
You'll
set
need to do
the
some
trap
digging.
and it's got a finite timeline.
You'll need to do some digging. Perhaps the Autumn Health Medical Systems, and no, I did it right. Yeah, Autumn Health Management Systems. Perhaps their HR department has something on him.
Didn't we look into that and get a dead end?
Are you asking me in or out of character?
In character.
You've never looked into it, no.
I
You
thought
did
we
you did a precursory check as to like news media and whatnot, but nobody ever went in or nobody ever cracked their systems.
Autumn Health is the only connection we got left to this guy. Ezra's no good now. We've tapped him for info. And if he's on an out with the Riskell dude, if we know why, maybe we'll know what gets his goat.
Or at least where his hunting grounds are. If we're gonna do something is like setting up a trap for him. I don't like the idea of like parading one of us in a spot to lure him. Like I don't know where would we even do it and not jeopardize burning down more woods.
just think if one of us were to be bait, I mean, why would he not have gone after any of us individually already? Because I go out by myself frequently. I'm sure you both do as well. And he's
Kind of
never
a
come after
homebody.
me.
That's what I was saying before. It's
So
not his
why?
MO to go after individuals. He goes after the group.
Right.
He would grab somebody that we know. Like he would. It's more likely that he would just do what he's always done: wait for us to lower our guard to grab one of us, then to lure the rest of us into a thing. I mean, he
So
already
he
did
knows.
it.
So he knows each of you, or your whole corte.
I, I, I,
Mm,
I I don't know how much he knows about me.
The first time I encountered him, um, he pulled somehow he managed to pull me and my entire coterie along with some others that didn't even live in Ashland um, during the day into a haunted mental hospital outside of town. Um, the hospital that we have since cleansed, and we destroyed. I don't remember if we destroyed it.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
it went poof.
good riddance. I still don't know how he got us all, but our group haven at the time was not especially well guarded. The second time, this last time, oh, and we fought our way out and got away. He was not there personally. He was somehow watching. Um, Basically, it was a sort of an obstacle course maze kind of experience that I do not wish to relive. This second time, he had kidnapped some friends of ours, and we went to find them. And while we were on the trail attempting to rescue them, is when we were ambushed.
I'm thinking because he doesn't know about me. If there's some way we can use that as an advantage.
I would say it depends on how much he has surveilled us individually. Because if he's aware of our movements, then he may have followed uh, your adventure the other night.
Or followed us here.
Could be.
Well, there's another suggestion. If you are not opposed to finding a way to temporarily negotiate.
Do tell.
Riskell Shade perhaps might have some information on him if you're willing to deal. I don't know what that would entail. And I'm certain that the Southern Cousins wouldn't take too kindly to it, but then again, they're not taking kindly to much of anything. But
Surprise suggestion from you.
well, our intention is to eventually go at him head first, but we would rather not have the other fangs at our back, so to speak. And I don't know if Mr. Shade is aware of our particular arrangement.
Who is this Riscal Shade? Like, what is he? Is he a human? What?
Yeah, what do you know about him?
He's the president of the company.
Yeah, but like, if you're suggesting that we go and like either negotiate for information or extort information from him, like you must know something about him other than just he's the president of the company.
We don't. What we do know, however, is given the sight of the first teams that we both encountered, it's likely that he is something. As to what, I don't know. The corruption takes on a number of different forms. You've obviously encountered the Normalites, which were those faceless creatures, white creatures that you encountered. It can manifest in other ways. So I would rightly presume that he is probably something on that hierarchy. Supernatural of some kind, but we don't know what.
And I wish Damaris were here. We could poke around about this fellow.
I don't like the idea of working with a guy who makes stuff that does that to people.
And that is absolutely fair enough. I was merely suggesting it as it would likely not increase or decrease your worm taint.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can look into that. I wonder if we can find an address for him.
You mean a home address?
Yes. I mean, I don't expect he would be at the office this time of night.
Oh yeah, so he pulls up a tablet, rattles off a street address in town.
I'm gonna pull it up on the map.
Okay.
Just to see where it is. I'm thinking. So I just bought Auspex level 5.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Which I have not used before. So.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit! Be careful.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Dale has had a lot of experience with this. He's like Jerome loves throwing stuff at you in astral form.
I should be invincible, right? Oh shit, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's my hesitation. Is I thought maybe this is not what I want to do for my maiden voyage.
It'd be fun.
I mean, at least nobody's gonna eat me while I'm gone. Not in this group.
Oh, there's Benedict.
Oh gosh. Well, I guess he'd have to go through Colin, so probably okay. All right. Well, what other options do we have? What if we do the summoning thing?
I'm unaware of a summoning thing.
That's the thing. Yeah, right. If you do that, well, we want to make sure we're going to be where we want to take him down when you do it, right? Because he just goes to you.
Right.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to clue me in. What exactly is the summoning thing?
I mean, we could tell you, but, so here's the thing. If we have a way of bringing him to us, are you gonna could we count on you to aid us in taking down our mutual enemy that you're here in town to hunt? Or
Absolutely.
okay, cool. Um, yeah, we may be able to give him a call.
We would have been
And
at your other soiree, but they had other plans.
it's just,
Painwise suggested that he would be there as well.
I'm just so used to these groups giving us their laundry to do. So if it's not one group, it's another. Um, but at least you're willing to help us wring this thing out. But um,
Of course, I would never give you anything of mine to dry clean.
Is there a secluded area that we could use? Because from listening to you guys about him, he's already ambushed you and he has fired from long distance. We don't want him, because I understand that once he sees you, he's able to leave. Is that right?
So perhaps you have a masquerade thing, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Some sort of rule about not being seen for what you are?
Yes. So ideally, this would be a private area.
Might I suggest Terrence Hill?
Ideally, somewhere that property damage would not be an issue, nor would collateral lives.
And not one where he can see you through a telescope.
So if we keep the summoner hidden,
Which is why I was suggesting Terrence Hill. It's not exactly ideal for us, and he looks over at Olchek. He says, "But it's out of the way. It's not something that someone's going to randomly encounter us at. More than likely,
not someplace people are going to miss.
Correct. And property damage is not going to be a problem.
Not a bad idea. It's a little more open than I.
where's Terrence Hill? Like, what side of town is that on?
Terrence Hill is actually on the southwest side of town.
Okay, perfect. Because
It is it's basically was an abandoned. It was a town that was on the outskirts of Ashland. It just became abandoned shortly after the mid '80s, and people moved on.
If we were to communicate this plan to your southern cousins beforehand, would they stand by, ready to receive their gift?
that's what I was at. That's
How
what I
much?
was
How
hoping.
much do you know about Jericho?
The wrestler?
Just that he's angry.
Oh, so you just now learn about the Umbrella Corporation, but you know who Jericho is.
I encountered him once.
I went to high school. There's a lot of professional wrestling fans there.
Oh, that Jericho.
Have you heard
Yes.
of Mr. Rogers?
Jericho Baneslayer is a hothead in the highest order. It is by God's graces that he has not run amok in the city already. So keeping him out of the loop is probably a good idea.
And this person is a werewolf?
He is, yes. In particular, the leader of the werewolves south.
Oh, God.
So then, who would bring the prize to them?
If he is secured, that is something that we would take care of.
Okay. So, do you think tranquilizers would work?
How many are you bringing?
How many do we need?
Bring enough for 2 elephants.
P.S. Does anyone have a trank gun, or do we need to raid the animal control?
I'm fresh out of elephant tranquilizer.
Yeah.
I've got a blow dart, but no elephant darts though.
Asking.
Yeah, Olchek just looks at you and he's just like, he's got that look of like, nothing about you makes sense. He just kind of holding his hands. It's like, you know who Jericho is, you just learned about Umbrella Corp, and you have a blowgun. None of these things make sense.
Listen, I was in public high school and I was poor. So here we go.
I'm imagining Remus, having to hunt for his own food while in high school, in the bushes by, near the lunch lady.
Yeah, I mean, what do you like? We couldn't afford to like just get our Lunchables at the store. We had to catch them in the wild.
Wild Lunchables.
It's a pizza one.
Thunk.
If we didn't have tranquilizers, how resilient are you guys? Like, this guy turns into a werewolf and we were to like rip one of his arms off. Would that kill him? Or be enough to just settle him down so we could, tie him up?
That's actually a great question. The rumors about his father was that he was powerful enough to challenge an ancient of your kind. I would imagine ripping the arm off of his son would make him rather upset.
Is his father still around?
No, he is not. He disappeared many, many years ago.
Disappeared but not died.
It disappeared as in we have no idea what became of him.
Well, that's great.
Is there any? Because he's going to be bringing firepower. Like, is our guns even going to be? Is there even a point to using a gun that's not a tranquilizer on this guy?
I'm sure enough damage would whittle him down.
Okay. Hey Benjamin, what's the strongest gun you can use?
Put one in my hand as long as it's not some weird like a fucking rocket launcher. You got a shotgun maybe? That would work.
Elephant gun.
What's wrong with rocket launchers?
One, I've never been in the military. I have no idea how to use one, but rifle, shotgun, like my pistol, but that's probably gonna do shit to this guy.
Yeah. I checked my Dogecoin. Do I have money?
Yes, you have
Okay.
money.
Okay. Maybe before we or like maybe before we set the date for this, like I kind of want to get some time to like do like a proper like the Expendables like suit up scene where we get anybody who uses a gun the stuff that they need. I have nothing in guns. I'm gonna have to get close to this guy.
Same here.
Was there anything else that I could help either of you with?
What can you tell me about? Well, I don't know. What can you tell me about Mr. Rogers?
They
And
both,
I'm like,
they both kind of like shoot themselves a look, and he's like,
I'm scanning his
Beloved-
face to see how. I
yeah.
want to see how he reacts. Like, is it like he knows?
No, he's just like beloved television icon and lover
Yeah.
of the Second Amendment.
I didn't know he liked the Second Amendment.
I hadn't heard that either.
Yes, Mr. Rogers is ex-military.
I did know that.
I'm just imagining him with like an AK, like going through the like taking off his slippers, removing the magazine. Make sure you oil the gun good.
Yep. He's in the process of taming Fallujah. Everything around his block is like, wonderful and nice, and it's still got Mr. McFeely, delivering mail. Get out beyond that, nope. Full on war zone. Full on war zone. He's trying to gentrify everything else to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, one block at a time.
Just him and Bob Ross, just whispering their way to a better future.
So, is he like a different kind of werewolf than you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Haight?
Yes.
And so he turns and looks at Olchek, like he's, thinking of something, and he says, in short, yes.
Does he share the same allergies?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think you have, from my understanding, there's a type of vampire that is similar in fashion to what he did. I don't quite remember the name. You have clans, not tribes, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So this clan, from what I understand, apparently devoured an actual vampire and became one through magic.
I look at Sophie like,
I don't think that narrows it down quite as much as you would think.
Oh, this is, I guess, more of a common problem amongst your type. My apologies.
What other traits does he possess that we might have a parallel for?
Oh, that I do not know. I know that while he shares many of our abilities and some of our weaknesses, he does have the problem of not being able to commune with the spirits such as we.
have you ever met this guy?
As
Like,
he is unnatural.
have you ever met him? Like,
Not directly, no. We do not sit down and
Take
sit
tea.
for tea. Yes.
I got a question for you folks. Last time, he jumped out of a fucking sword. How does that work?
He what?
When he was fighting Henri held out his sword, and the fucker, swear to God, jumped out of the sword to attack Henri. I had to stop for a second to figure out if I should shoot him or the sword or what the fuck was going on. How
So
does that work?
He came out of your friend's sword.
Jumped out of the sword.
is it like reflections or something?
And so he nods. He says, that is one of our particular gifts if you have not run into it as of yet. Reflective surfaces.
Fascinating.
Oh.
And terrifying.
So he's like,
So buff them so they're not shiny?
I suppose that would help. If he doesn't have items on him already that doesn't or that allow him to, or that assist him with this.
Can you jump out of any sized? It's like if there's a bunch of quarters on the ground, he could pop out of any one that's shiny. Like
Reflective surfaces. It's usually relative to the size of the individual, but I imagine he can do something in a pinch.
Maybe we could use that to our advantage. Put some strategically placed objects.
yeah, but giving him more opportunities to hop between them.
Maybe we only give him one. Oh, but if he... No, there's no determining whether he would come back out.
They
would
look
think
to-
he would.
I looked at the two werewolves and I'm like, what's happening there? Like a reflective surface, okay. Where is he going? How is he going through it?
He says it's a link to a spiritual world.
But didn't you say he? Oh, I guess he can't.
Huh.
He
Not
doesn't commune with the spirits, but he can hop into a reflective spiritual world.
Right.
Holy shit.
I mean, you may not be a fish, but I could still throw you in water.
Could you guys hop through a shiny silver surface?
Yes.
Is that something that you guys could like? How do we know he's not hiding in like this reflective world now? Like, is that a way he could hide from people, or is
It
that
is.
just like a? Okay, so it's not just like a night crawler. I go from one spot to another. It's literally a place where he could just be lying in wait.
Correct.
wonder if he
There's-
summoned from that place. Whether he would.
He shrugs. I don't know your summoning thing, so I wouldn't know.
Hmm.
And no offense, I'm unwilling to try.
Could you get us into that place, or is this just a you kind of thing?
Yes. However, you have no way of getting back.
Through that.
Yeah.
And going back to the water analogy, there are things there that you do not understand. And if you cross over, you can touch them. And more importantly, they can touch you now.
I didn't really get your water analogy before.
Would you like me to throw you in a shark-infested pond to demonstrate?
I mean, I don't really get the analogy, but whatever. It's not important. I guess I don't know. I just want to make it to where we can deal with this dude and minimize destruction and bodies on both sides. But it's kind of hard when we have to dance between not really knowing what we're up against. Like, I didn't even realize that he could jump through reflections.
I have another question. Besides the tranquilizers, is there any other thing that would subdue him?
That he shrugs. I don't know what sort of powers collectively that you have.
I'm talking about like in the natural.
Physical?
Yes.
Yeah, I honestly would not know.
So you couldn't tell us what the overall weakness is?
I can't tell you what overall weaknesses we have. I mean, I understand the good neighbor policy, but it's only going to go so far.
It was worth a try.
All right. So we have 2 or 3 options. Option 1, we have summoning and see if that works. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. If it doesn't, we're just waiting around and nothing happens. If it does, we got to be ready and in a place where nobody sees us, like Terrence Hill. Other option, we go have a talk with Risco Shade, find out what his deal is. Maybe get more info.
Well, I think we should do that anyways, so that we are more informed and better prepared.
We should probably know who this dude is too, especially if he's super. And it's technically a part of my job now, right?
And I can help you.
There you go.
Would you like to pay a house call?
Give me the address.
I'll pass the notepad along to him.
Okay.
Type that into my Pantheon phone. Save it.
Okay.
This guy's not going to live in like a single floor duplex. Like this guy's, if he's the owner of this company, he's going to be in like some sort of compound, right?
Yeah, Noah nods. He says it's a nice vineyard.
So you'll need backup.
I got Lily. Either of you willing to pay a visit?
I don't like the idea of getting in bed with this dude unless it's to stop him from doing whatever he's doing. But I also don't like the idea of just sending the two of you out on your own. So I'll go along if you guys need me.
We could stay in the car or keep watch on the back door or whatever.
It's gonna be a vineyard. He's probably got like loads of acreage, probably with guards. Can we bring up that location on Google Maps or
Oh, yeah.
Google Earth in order to kind of see like
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
we're looking at? Okay.
Well, I go ahead and pull it up on my phone to see like what the area looks like, how much area, like land we're talking about, and all that.
Yeah. It's just off of. I mean, it's not. I shouldn't say it's just off of downtown, but it's still in Ashland proper, just down the freeway a piece. Sophie, you recognize it.
I recognize the place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's your house. The call's coming from inside the.
it's a place where somebody who I used to know used to live.
No, it's the old Group Haven.
What?
It used to have it used to have a vineyard.
I thought it was blown up.
It was. That was 2 years ago.
Well, that's alarming.
Why, hello, injury. Let me introduce you to insult.
A little injury, a little insult.
Still mad they blew up my wedding dress in there.
I almost got killed saving one of Bear's girls in that house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, that's very interesting. Does it look like it's the same layout that it was before?
Probably pretty close.
Hmm.
There are some noticeable differences to the building since it was rebuilt. But a lot of the property all still looks the same. You've got the vineyard, out back, the roundabout, driveway and everything.
Very interesting.
privacy road.
Well, then they'll definitely notice us coming up.
Well, I'm ready if everyone else is.
Yeah.
I suppose we might as well.
And you all can confirm this dude, Riskel, he's not good, right? Not a good person, if he's even a person.
Oh, you're talking to Noah?
Yeah.
If he's working for this group, then yes, he is not a good person.
Okay. I just wanted to know in case we feel the need to cut his head off. I just wanted to be sure.
Well, even if he was, he's collateral.
Okay, cool.
If he is in cahoots with them, then he might have other things on the property as well. Right?
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised
Of course.
if yeah.
He's definitely going to have his own layer of protection. That is for certain, given the company that he works for.
Well, we can at least go take a look, I suppose. Again, it'd be really, really convenient if we had Damaris here.
Damaris is doing Damaris things.
Yes, indeed.
This seems like such a like now that we know that this dude is living in our old or in your old place. It just seems like this is where hate is. This is such a trap.
It's the place that we got kidnapped from previously.
Oh, it's not the place that was that the place where they drove a like armored vehicle in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like what? Why? Yeah, they're living in their in that old cave. Like that just seems like. Oh yeah.
That's just wrong.
Well, no, it just seems like that makes sense. Like where else would this dude be holding up? You know, in terms of like hate, like where would he have gone? Oh, it makes sense. You know, oh, I'm gonna live in their cave because yeah. Ugh,
Hmm.
what did you do to make this guy mad?
Existed.
God,
Hmm.
Or are we saying we need to bring some firepower or what?
probably. I mean, if these guys are making pills that turn people into those weird, gross things, I wouldn't be surprised if he has some like on the property because I'm imagining like does because I don't remember. Did the old Haven was it on a piece of property or was
Mhm.
it like in a neighborhood?
No, it was on a piece of property.
It had quite large grounds.
Okay, so that means we're probably not gonna go in through the driveway, right? We're probably gonna want to sneak in.
I suppose it depends on what the cover story is.
We're supposed to be talking to this guy. If he's on the outs with Max, maybe he'll want Max dealt with. For all we know, enemy of my enemy, for now, for this asshole.
I mean, possibly, but does this dude also hate us? Like, if he's in this business to hunt down supernatural things like us, like you know, us showing up to be like, hey, we want to help you take out your garbage, like he might still that might not be enough.
Then I'll ask him nicely.
Are you going to use the investigator shtick?
I'm not a shtick anymore. I'm literally an investigator, so yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Wish there was a way to like spy without actually being there, like through a crystal ball.
That was literally what Damaris did. Not the ball, but water, I guess.
And that's the maiden voyage that Sophie is attempting to avoid.
Yep. Maybe try that power on easy mode first.
By the
Or-
way,
Spider web.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to do that, you could test that out real quick if you wanted to. You could spy on Doug.
Oh, do it. Do it.
Okay. All right, we could try that. Let's see.
I hope it's him at like
Perception and awareness.
like in an Arby's, just arguing with people about vampire stuff.
So we'll say it's a difficulty 8. This is not to do it, but to try and find him, because you don't know where exactly he is. But you understand the city. Okay. So she takes a moment with that. Noah and Ulchik are going to leave. She takes a moment and lays herself out on the couch, and she just goes stiff as a board. Just pff.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Yep, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. And this is the first time you have ever left your body, and you take a moment and you like sit up like you normally would. But when you sit up, everybody's just kind of like looking at you and just looking at your stiff body, on the ground, and you're looking at yourself, and looking around everybody else, and they don't obviously see you. They're just like, looking around and, expecting something to happen, but you feel kind of weightless. Kind of superhero-ish.
Hey, weird.
And there there is a little bit of an ethereal look to your surroundings.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and find Doug. If he's LARPing, didn't they say that they usually do it at particular building?
Yes.
Like not at the park.
Right, which was not available at the time, and so they had
Right.
to use the park that one time. So yes.
So maybe try looking there first.
So you will yourself, and it's like seconds. It's very much like a Matrix sort of effect. Like you're just kind of passing through buildings and places, and it's just blurring lights and colors and specks of darkness as you dart through the night. And you come up to this building, and there's like 30 people, out here, interspersed with, some tables and chairs. And there's Doug sitting on, this big chair that they made up to look like a throne. And so, and they have this court setting. He looks over and, he points down to somebody. He says, "Bring the plebeian forward." So they come, marching forward and, and begging the prince, to allow them entry into the city, sort of thing. And he, forces them into like a minor boon to allow it.
And I tell him about unrighteous dominion. All right, well, that works. Let me see. Maybe I should try somebody else.
Hang on a second.
Oh.
Whoa! Oh, that's right. They we do that where they blow up now. I don't have to re-roll them. If I re-rolled, that was even better. But okay. So and he's and he motions the other person off, and then another person comes forward, and they are in trouble with the domain because they embraced illegally. So big sort of thing, and like his sheriff is actually this big Samoan guy, like real big, beefy but geeky player sort of thing. So he's got like the shirt on, and he's got he looks the part. Like if you saw him on the street, you would not expect him to be doing this sort of thing. Like he could easily pass for a leg breaker in real life, but maybe he's just got a heart for gaming.
Like a bouncer.
Yeah, but he's probably more comfortable gaming. This seems to be his crowd. So like, Doug's about ready to speak, and then he locks eyes with you, and he says, you're good. Go ahead. Have fun. Make love, not war. Moving along." And they're like looking around, and the other person's like, I got a minor boot, like what the hell, sort of thing.
I'll give him a thumbs up.
He's visibly starting to sweat.
That's funny. Okay.
Well, there's a chance you could see you because Doug has been cheating on hardcore mode with this with this LARP. He's been using all of his powers to the best of his ability.
The real question is, what abilities does he have these days?
Well, you've noticed 2 at least.
This is true.
3 actually. He has moved fast. He is influencing people.
Oh, has he?
And he spotted you when you were technically invisible.
Oh.
Check his dice.
I know he's got check his dice. I know he uses heightened senses too.
Mm-hmm.
And potence, of course.
Yep. So that would be 4.
Well, impressive. All right, I'm just gonna wave to him and then look for somebody else. Let's see, who could I spy on that's relatively safe. I'm gonna swing by the Shakespearean Festival.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna make you roll for that. That you're just going to a location.
Right.
So same thing. You're just getting used to the whole flying essentially.
Star Trek light speed.
Yeah. And when you stop, you come to a stop at the Shakespeare Festival there. It's nighttime, so there's not really many people there. But I mean, you see people cleaning up and closing up shop and just making sure stuff is secure.
I'm gonna try and touch somebody just to see what happens.
You pass right to them.
Okay. Interesting.
Like they don't even notice. You just.
Okay. Should I check on anybody else?
Oh.
So as you are
what?
As you are kind of poking around and looking at the Shakespeare Festival, you end up seeing a guy who you can see through. So he is clearly not human, and he just seems to be watching some guy, and he as he's watching this he seems to be a janitor just kind of doing his thing. The guy, he has a rather foul mouth. And he is, he's barking at him about something. He's like, "You, why? If I had a spare moment, I'd just bust you in the chops. You just, give me just a fucking moment. I'll go get the Utes. We'll break you up. Something right proper."
I'm gonna drift into maybe like closer to this person.
Is that the Giovanni ghost that we sometimes is alluded to when we hang out with the Utes?
So you drift up closer, and he like turns around. He turns around, and he's about ready to say something. He's like, "Hey, Dollface, what you doing here?"
What are you doing here?
"I'm trying to harass this mook."
Why? What did he do to you?
Double parked.
So you're the parking police now.
Do you
That
have
seems
any? Do you have any idea how hard it is to get my boys to park right? Let alone have this guy like cut us off and take the prime park. He's not even handicapped. But I'll make him handicapped, and I will.
Seems a little to you.
I like how Sophie's a ghost now and she's bossing this ghost around.
So he just like, yeah. So what's with you? Where's the body?
It's back at home. Just taking a test drive.
What?
The spirit powers.
What, you a ghost by proxy now? Is that how that working?
Oh. For the time being, I guess. I'm gonna like reach out and see if poke his arm, see if I can touch him. No?
No. He says, "Oh, we must not be on the exact same plane."
That's interesting. But I guess good to know. Okay. Hey, we haven't seen you much around.
I've been busy. Making
more trouble.
No, always making more trouble. So what?
Right.
You hanging out here and spying on these poor janitors?
Well,
You're a voyeur, ain't you?
I didn't know if there was something playing right now.
What? You got to go all ghosted to go watch something?
Nah.
See, babe, that's my thing.
Well, to each their own. No, like I said, I'm just test driving.
Okay, well, you enjoy whatever test drive you're doing, honey. I got some balls to break.
Hope it's not that poor janitor.
It's not the janitor.
All right, see ya, Vinny.
So he goes back to just, yelling at a guy who can't hear him anyways.
All right, so I guess I'll come back home.
In the time that she's gone, I want to ask Colin. Colin, with your permission, can I braid Sophie's hair into pigtails? 2 reasons. One, I think it would be funny. The other one is, assuming that she's been just lying there, I wonder if she'll be able to feel it. If that's something that we should test, like if she can feel stuff happening to her body while she's doing stuff.
Okay, fair enough. It's for science. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, and I'm gonna braid Sophie's hair into pigtails.
Okay.
Do I have to roll for it?
No, I'm not gonna be.
Okay.
Oh, good grief!
Do I feel anything?
No.
Okay. So I have no.
But
no connection with my body.
Yeah, at this point, you just come back, or are you going anywhere else?
No, I'll come back.
Okay. So he's done with like the first braid by the time you just come back to your body. And it's all like the travel and whatnot is all like pretty fast. It's not like instantaneous, but it's pretty fast.
So I come to and like Remus is in my face.
Yes.
I would have, well, because you were lying on the couch, I would have like gone to like other side of it and like braid it from behind, so that way, like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm not like sitting or like leaning over you as you're knocked out.
Since you're doing that, give me a willpower check, Remus.
Oh God. Benedict, stay asleep. One success.
One success. Okay.
I'm assuming 6 is the threshold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you're marginally holding on. So basically, as she wakes up and you finish on the braid, you just kind of instinctively take the braid up to your nose and go.
Ugh. God. I think to Benedict, I'm like, you always have to make it weird.
Okay, so I guess I wake up and I feel like somebody looming over and just kind of
or
like
nearby, yeah. Taya.
just like flail a little.
Okay. I mean, you throw your hands up, around and kind of get at him. Part of your hair is braided. Colin shrugs. For science.
Did you feel that?
Nope.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Hey, but I
mean, that's good to
ran
know.
into Vinny.
I prompt Colin for a high five.
So he just kind of looks at you and leaves you hanging like Borat.
Oh.
Rude.
All right. His wife.
Well, I found Doug, and he saw me. So, I don't know. That could mean a couple of things. I mean, we do have a connection, so I don't know if that's surprising or not. But
Well, isn't that kind of like your auspex or like your? I mean, you can sort of see spirits, right?
he's got a little bit of that too. Yeah. So
Are the werewolves still here?
No, they left.
Oh, dang. So I was gonna ask. Were they still here when Sophie took off?
No, that's when they left.
Okay, because I would have wanted to ask them if they could see her, like if they knew, because if they can see spirits and stuff, if they would have seen her like body taking off. Because like if
that would have been a good question.
Because if werewolves can see it, then it's not something we can use to spy on. Like, well, they probably wouldn't even tell me.
Oh, Tremere have auspex, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you could have tried that. Maybe.
I'm not high enough yet.
Oh. Another time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, so I guess we could try it. Do you want me to go again and try spying on the mansion?
You think you can do it safely?
I mean, if anything, all we know is that now we know that you can't, like, people can see you.
And
How do we know?
Who's Vinny?
Oh, Vinny is a ghost of the Giovanni. He's a fellow that we've worked with before. Also, I couldn't touch him, so that's kind of a relief.
But could he touch you?
I mean, I don't know that he tried. He can kind of do that here, in a sense.
Was he a vampire when he got turned into a ghost, or was he a?
You know, I don't know. I
Because
doubt
like,
it.
because like,
I'll
because
have to ask him.
we're technically dead, right? We don't have souls, or do we?
Speak
I
for
don't know.
yourself. Sheesh.
Yeah, Colin shrugs.
I don't know. It's
He
my
says
first day.
you could ask the Giovanni.
Yeah, I somehow I never asked that. I know they're known in the underworld, so to speak. Kind of, but kind of like you would have heard about a secret organization here that like is kind of the boogeyman sort of group. But I don't know if vampires have spirits in that sense.
I have not yet to see one. And I've never heard of a vampire turning into a ghost.
Wait a second. What about that ghost?
Oh, Virgil.
Virgil.
Virgil, yeah. Well,
Was he a vampire before he became a ghost?
yeah, he was. And
Mystery solved.
Hmm.
So there. I have a soul, Remus. Take that.
I wasn't saying you didn't have one. I
You
just
said
wasn't.
none of us did.
No, I just wasn't sure. I didn't
Oh.
like. Remember, I didn't get to go to vampire boot camp like the rest of you all did. A lot of this stuff is still new to me. I just wasn't sure if like maybe that was why. Like, because if we're technically dead but we're moving around, like, do we have a soul? Are we gonna go? Are we gonna go to hell at the end of all this?
Are you saying you're a smart zombie?
I guess. Well, no, I'm not rotting, or am I? Am I rotting?
I don't
smell a
know.
lot
Are
better
you?
now than you used to.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't rot. That was like on purpose filth to blend in with the homeless people. That wasn't like that
You know,
wasn't. I like.
we don't need to talk about that.
Well, I just to clear it up. I like bathing. Okay, smelling nice is fine. Just didn't have a whole lot of opportunity or reason to do it.
Yeah, we are like Rob Zombie's The Living Dead.
We have living dead boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a bit? I don't know. It's my first day.
So, as far as you doing the whole ghost thing, I mean, if this is your first time and we have no idea who this Riskel Shade is or what he is, it's a coin toss. I kind of don't like our Baron going at it alone with no backup. Like, I
Is there
can't
any-
follow you into wherever you're going.
Is there any way we can ripcord you back into your body if like we see like something happening to you here?
I don't know. I never tried it before.
So, babe, do we know anybody who has more experience at this than you that you might be able to ask?
The werewolves. Oh no.
Like Isadora?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I would imagine she's done this before.
She doesn't usually like me asking those kind of questions on the phone.
She's used to being paranoid. And she probably doesn't have one of the encrypted phones like we have.
I'm gonna text Isadora and ask her if she's back in town.
Okay. So she fires a text back. Yes, dear, but you've already picked up your book. Or was it something else?
I'll text back. Hang on, I'm coming to see you.
Okay, so she sends a heart emoji.
Ask her if she wants an encrypted phone. Well, if she's paranoid and she's a friend of ours, and it'd be good to get in contact with her easily, I can spring for a phone for her if it'll make her feel better.
If she's going to get one, she probably would want one for each of the band. So that's 4, 5.
Wait, do we need to call people in the band?
Wait, what do you mean?
Is this a band? Is this your band?
My band. Well, it's their band. I'm in their band.
Are you guys rich? You guys can't afford your own encrypted phones?
I'm surprised if she doesn't have a... Anyway, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. What's the difficulty this time?
Oh, it's 5. You know where you're going.
Oh.
And who you're looking for.
6.
Okay. So you lay back out. And then...
This time I braid Colin's hair to see if Sophie can feel it.
You reach over to try and braid Colin's hair?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'll take some skill.
He's going to slap your hand. Quit it.
Also, his hair's not long enough to braid.
I didn't know he had a tattoo until today.
So you go over to the Victorian house. I mean, you see Isadora at this point almost completely naked, with just kind of like a little almost see-through top on, just laid out in her room and doing her nails.
I'm gonna pop in and like approach as though I was there physically.
Okay. I mean, she's still doing her nails.
Let's see. Okay, so I can use telepathy in this form, right?
You sure can.
Let's see if I can contact her.
Does this use the rules from the movie Ghost?
I actually just watched that for the first time last week.
Channel your hatred and then poke things. Yeah,
it's all in your mind.
Right.
Although admittedly, that movie is not a bad primer for Wraith. Yeah. It really isn't. The idea that you're tied to the passion, that's a good Wraith thing. The whole pushing the penny up a wall or a coin or turning water on and writing something in the steam, that's great for Wraith. The shadowy creature things that kind of come out and took that guy off and into the nether or wherever they took him to eat his soul, that's very Wraith. I mean, so
that was terrifying.
Yeah.
But the making pottery scene.
Yeah. Oh, so like I knew about that scene, but I always assumed that he was a ghost at that point. And he's not. Yeah. That was like before he died.
He was technically
very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, technically it happens again, but it's him and Whoopi Goldberg's body.
Yes, but they just show him.
That wasn't a pottery thing, though. Anyway. Okay, so
Whoopi was making Whoopi.
What's the difficulty for telepathy?
We'll just say 6 for now.
Okay, in that case, I only have 1 success.
Okay. So you see surface thoughts.
I'm just going to try and say, like, can you see me?
So she, like, looks up and around and looks through the room, and then she spots you, kind of hovering there, and she says, "Oh, so you're in an astral form now."
I'm experimenting.
Okay.
Is there a way that my friends can pull me back while I'm in this form?
Let me double check. I'm just making sure they haven't changed anything for V20.
Your show's better at improv. There's in Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker, there's a dude, whenever they have like people looking up things, he makes like on the spot like fake sponsor ads, and it's like the funniest stuff.
She says, "Not really. I suppose someone could summon you or jerk your soul, but I don't know if you know anybody with that advanced levels of necromancy to do that sort of thing."
Oh, it comes to necromancy at that point.
It could. Summoning still works on you.
Huh.
So if you were summoned, you would immediately wish to return to your body and then go present yourself.
Good to know. This is pretty dangerous, right?
How so?
I'm just thinking about, like there's things. It's so far I haven't been able to interact with anything in this form, but I wonder if that's true.
You won't be able to unless they are also reaching out on the psychic plane.
Have you had that happen before?
Yes, sometimes Toreadors will do that if they're wishing to be private.
Interesting.
Although it's exhausting for such a thing, so it doesn't happen often, I don't think.
Okay.
Why? What are you fishing for?
Considering using this tool for a scouting mission, but we're not sure what we'll find at the location. And so we're just worried that something will happen while I'm out. Something will happen to me while I'm scouting.
Well, if it helps any, most of the dangers that you would end up facing are to your body. So if your body is well protected, then you should be sufficiently safe.
Okay. That is quite a relief. Thank you.
You're welcome. And is there anything else that I can help you with?
That's all for now. We're looking at avenues to deal with the hate situation. And the current plan is to investigate the the CEO of this Autumn Health place and see if he can get us any intel on where Hate might be or anything about his nature that could assist us in taking him down.
Well, happy hunting. Do keep me in the loop.
Thank you. I like that color.
Well, thank you.
Hope you had a nice trip.
I did.
We'll see you later. And I'll zip back to my body.
Okay. Poof. And that is where we will stop for the night. We've got over 2.5 hours of game there. So the next game would technically be on the 26th. But I believe we're doing a Friendsgiving. I think that was the plan, right, Brittany?
Yeah.
So that means the next game wouldn't be until December 10th. Does that work?
It looks like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm keeping my Fridays open.
Okie dokie. So we'll go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you very much, Vancouver, for the raid. They've actually got both of their channels, Vancouver by Night and Vancouver Adjacent. So if you're interested in watching a V5 game, or 2 V5 games, they've got, I think, almost a completely different cast for both games. And I follow some of them on Instagram and social media too. So thank you again very much for watching, and again for the community and whatnot. Sometimes we get lost in just playing the game, and it's nice to know that we're actually still connected to some degree. And of course, all the follows. I didn't get a chance to say it at the time because we were right in the middle of a scene, but we had several people end up following us too right around the raid time. So.
Awesome.
And then tomorrow is our Modern Age Superheroes game played by Marvel Superheroes game systems, the old Face Rip game system. So if you're interested, please tune in. That'll be taking place at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Arizona doesn't change our time zone, so we're now in Mountain Central as opposed to Pacific. And we will catch you guys later then. So thank you again for tuning in. Good night, guys. Bye.
Good.